Welcome back to the Contact Center Cactus Chat podcast. And we are back with Kiezia, our Director of Company Culture, for part 2 of our interview here. And really excited to have you on the podcast again. And I've got a couple more questions, burning questions I have to ask you about. And this is the very last of our 8-year anniversary series while I'm here in Dumaguete. And I think this is like the 8th or 9th or 10th podcast I've recorded since I've been here. So I can start doing these in my sleep soon. But thank you for stepping up and being on the show. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me again, Eric. Well, I'm excited to talk more about company culture.
Yeah.
Let's get started.
So in the first episode, we talked about how we started working together even before Pac Biz with the taxi business, TrueCap. And, we talked a bit about some of the growth that you've experienced and the growth that you've helped bring Pac Biz and some of the talent that you helped bring Pac Biz. But I want to talk about, that takes us up to about 2020. And, I was out here with my family. It was March 2020. We're watching the news. COVID's starting to happen. Lockdowns are starting to happen. And now all of a sudden, you built the culture around events, a lot of events that we used to do all the time with the staff. And now, unlike the US, Canada, the UK, the COVID restrictions here were really strong and really strict. Like there was no face-to-face, there's mask, face shield with the mask. They had police checkpoints throughout all of the Philippines, throughout the city here. One of our biggest challenges when COVID started, if you remember, was we had staff that didn't keep up with their motorcycle registration. And so when they got to the police checkpoint trying to get to the office, they weren't let through because there was no registration. So they had to go back home. It's like weird stuff that we had to deal with. But they couldn't even come to the office. Like you were just completely cut off from the events that you could put on. In fact, I remember we were getting ready for the 5-year anniversary. We do this thing called Sports Fest, one of our traditions that we used to have here, and really excited about it. We were going to have everyone getting together. And then as it got closer, we were meeting and they're like, okay, we can't have a gathering of more than 100 people. So, okay, how do we balance that? And then it started going to like 50 people. And then it started going to 20. And next thing you know, like the whole city's locked down. So
Yeah.
What a challenge.
It was.
But you answered the call again, and you stepped up and you found innovative ways to continue culture. So how did you manage through that? And how did you not just like give up? Because I feel like some people in that role would be like, this is it. I don't know. Call me when COVID's over. But you took the challenge and you made it so an awesome workplace when people couldn't even see each other. So how did you do that?
Right. So I remember it was March when that happened. The lockdown, we can no longer work to the office, and yeah, I had that in mind too. That what am I gonna do with company culture? But I remember also like a friend telling me about it, like, this time would be like the more you need company culture, like your job is more needed. And yeah, so it's just about being able to quickly shift to the digital world. So March, and it's interesting also, it was during COVID this time that we actually updated our company core values, which is more where everyone participated compared to the old one that we had. Somebody just put it up.
That's true.
So
We use like the acronym of something. I don't remember anymore. They didn't have any meaning. No one could repeat it. I think I asked around, like, do you guys know what it says out there for our core values? And no one in the company. I couldn't even repeat it. That's a problem.
Right. So it was like during the COVID time that we updated our company core values. And yeah, it was because communication is a big thing and people are at home and how do you make this like events, but there's always that the virtual world. And so I remember I did try to find resources, what other companies are doing, and there is this like group of culture, they call it culture champions. So there's that group, and I check what they're doing, and everyone is shifting to the virtual world. And but during that time, we're also bringing something that can help, uh, something relevant with the situation. And I remember we brought in speakers, speakers to do like online talk, like from it's easy to do it like anywhere you are. So it's an opportunity, right? And you get to hear these people like from all over. Like we brought in like a couple of guests, like monthly, and also we did the PB Jam, or like online. We just had like a few people doing a recording, and then we used the live on. It was just Facebook, and the quality wasn't even that good. But yeah, it was about quickly shifting to the virtual world, and because communication was a very crucial part during COVID.
Yeah, because we used to see each other all the time. Now we've got to get information to them, and they're not in the office, they're not in person. So yeah, and I'm so glad that again you're out looking. You have see, this is where it's so important, that personal growth. If you wouldn't have gone out and made those connections before COVID started, I think that really helped give you some ideas on how you could take this challenge. And I remember like I was like really impressed, like, wow, you're getting some really great speakers here. And I don't think we wasted any time starting it. It wasn't like we spent 6 months planning it out. Like it was right away. I think like by May, June, we were doing this
right
type
away.
of stuff. Yeah.
It was yeah, it was Eric was right. It was right away. It was like March, and then I attended this like class, like culture that was like about value creation. So just perfect timing. And Eric had that it was like we had the PB variety show.
Yeah.
Where Eric would have his updates, what's going on with our accounts. So
I mean, it was a literal, like, it could have been a Netflix series, like a literal 30-minute episode. I still love, like, and we're not doing enough of them. Things, I think with everything coming back, we see each other all the time. We're not really doing that as much anymore. It really was something that helped us out through COVID. But I think we got to like episode 16 or something, or we made a lot of episodes, and they're high quality. Like it's me interviewing people. Like I think I always interviewed a staff member. I'd do little segments where I'd intro and outro clips, and I'd have my daughter in the show with me. And then the creative team here came up with the program. Whether it was like you got different employees on for Father's Day with their kids, or Mother's Day, there was something around that. We'd have staff doing performances. They do like a song they record, and we put that in the show. And then mix that in with updates from leaders about, housekeeping items and things that you need to know about your job and what's happening. And I'm so proud of the work that we got to do. And all I did was say, like, we got to do this show. But the work that happened behind the scenes to put it together, you and Benzie and a lot of other people, a lot of other leaders, because you had to get people to step up and they had to submit videos. It was a lot of work. But what's awesome is I will save those videos forever. Like I want to be old and watching those videos and be like, wow, look at, there's like, it's just like a time machine, snapshot in time of like what we were going through, talking about COVID, but also, like we're going to look back at these episodes and, like when we're way older,
Yeah.
wow. I don't know. I actually saw part of the clip not too long ago. It's already been 3 years. And, when you're a parent and it's got a 6-year-old and a 3-year-old, and they grow so fast. So it's cool to go back and look. It's like, oh my gosh, my daughter's so small there. Look at how much more hair I had back then.
Right. So we had those, and I think one of the like really like important things that we did during that time was the updating of the core values, because in company culture, um they always say like getting the right people to your business, and so yeah, we updated it, and they were like people that we had to replace because they're actually not fit
Okay.
to the job. And so, like for example, we got a better videographer, um, right, because of that. At COVID, also because of these like downtime, we were able to look at like our we were able to look at other things, like how we can, you know, make our culture like stronger, and it all starts um with that updating of the core. Yeah. So those were actually exciting times for
Yeah.
me. And for yeah, for culture. So
I'm so grateful we went through that because I use the core values every day. There is not a business I talk to. If you guys ever reach out to Pac Biz, if you're listening and you're thinking about outsourcing and you set up a meeting with us, there's no way we're going to get through that meeting without me spending the first couple minutes talking about our core values. And it makes my job so much easier because now with like just a couple minutes, I could really explain who we are, what we're all about here, what we look for in staff, and if they don't match it, like what we do when we let people go because they're not a good fit, and clients too. I want to attract clients that match those core values. We didn't have that to begin with. At first, I wanted to attract clients that pay us money. I want that, but they also have to match our core values. And I mean, how important is it? You're not working with the clients directly. You get to help maybe entertain them when they come out to visit. We got clients that come out from UK, from Canada, from the US. How important are those core values and having clients that are a match with that?
right. So with our core value, uh, it is very like important to always work with clients aligned to our core, right? Because
Mhm.
um it also happened to us when we worked with this client before. Um, I think I don't have the data like how many clients would just stop working with us. Like if there is such a difference with our clients before we updated the core, or but I think there is different.
8-year anniversary. And I think one of the things that I really am really proud of that we've been able to build over these years, and I think is so important to culture, is traditions. And I think that was something too that we were pretty purposeful in from the beginning. There's things that we keep coming back and bringing back. PB jams, the Sports Fest is something we're going to bring back another time. Um, We've done like Biggest Loser Challenge where we challenge everybody in the office to lose weight, and we give a prize to the people who lose the most kilos. But there's all these traditions. Oh, birthdays, like what you guys do for birthdays, what we do when we hire new employees, and there's like the welcome dinner, and there's all these like traditions that we've created. We have these big brother or like the mentor mentee program for new employees so that they get to learn about the culture we have here and how to be a good fit and how to be successful at Pac Biz. So talk to me about that because that a lot of that comes from you're the one executing these, and many times I did not come up with PB jams. I did not come up with Sports Fest. I don't think I came up with any of them. I think that had to probably come from you, maybe some of the other people here. But talk to me about like these traditions and how important are they to who we are today at Pac Biz?
Yeah, with it's interesting with I think traditions add so much to our to practice personality, because culture is the company's personality, and how it also So you can use that for your marketing, your brand. But aside from that, this is just from a personal perspective. Like we all, like as humans, right? We wanted to have this. I believe the tradition set the tone for the office for them to have this like safe mindset when they know what to expect. And I'm glad that we are um putting so much emphasis on tradition, like what they would expect on like February, the anniversary. And so it kind of set their mind already what's going to happen. And the for the Easter, so it's sort of creating that safety as you want. Easter and then the sports fest and the Pac Biz jam. And even with our program, we like the EcoRev, it has to it has to have a name or like that branding. And so yeah, it's easy for them to tell what Pac Biz is with this tradition. So
Man, every time you keep talking, I keep thinking of more questions to ask you. I'm like, man, there's going to be part 4, part 5. So I think we'll have to do another couple episodes next time I'm out here in December, hopefully in December, because you're giving me more ideas. I think I want to ask more in the future about more on those traditions. Like, there's some cool stuff that we do, like the Halloween decorations. Yeah, again, it's just you don't realize how much you do, and like there's so much, and it really makes it makes sense that we are who we are today. And again, for those of you guys listening, if you made it to the end of part 2 here, and you're wondering, like, this is a lot of great stories, but how does this help my call center? How does this help my business? Well, here's the tangible part of it. Like, we're celebrating our 8-year anniversary, and over the weekend, I didn't even realize, but our hosts, we have 2 Pac Biz employees, Nell and Sam, who are part of the culture department as well, part of your team, and as well as agents on the phone, providing support for our staff. But they announced and read the names of 53 people that by the end of the year, they'll all be celebrating their 5-year anniversary with us. So, I mean, if you're a business owner and you have 53 people celebrating their 5-year anniversary, how impactful is that to a business? How impactful is having that many people here that long? How does that make your job easier?
well, yeah, because it's all like it makes my job easier because they are the ambassadors or ambassadors of our culture, and they've been here for a long time, so they could like express it like they're as strong like a ambassador compared to if you hire a new one. You have to it takes time for them to get used to these traditions or what to expect with the company. And when they go out there, they could tell that, oh, I've been working with Practice for this long. Of course, they tell their friends why, right? And probably they will tell them about these like, traditions that we have. So yeah, they're a very like strong ambassadors for your company culture or company.
Yeah, and we're trying to grow a lot. That was a big theme. Every time I'm out here, it's like, hey, we want to grow the company. We want to add this stuff. And it makes it a lot easier when you've got people that have been here for years that, yeah, you're right. They're the champions of the company. They're out there. They're like walking billboards and commercials for Pac Biz because it's like, well, if you've been there for 5 years, there's something there. And I never forget when I was out here last year in July, and we were just starting the podcast, and I was doing the first episodes with Jake. But I was talking with the staff, and so many of the staff were coming up to me because it was my first time back after 2.5, 3 years because of COVID. And so many of them were like, I never worked at a company more than 6 months. I'd always bounce around, and I've just celebrated my 3-year anniversary or my 4-year anniversary. And, that speaks to something. There's something there. Like, why would you stay at a company for that long when you never, like, you are known for actually jumping around? Like, I know one of our account managers that I'll never forget his story. And, he actually said, like, he really stepped up. He personally grew because he told himself, like, I don't want to keep doing this and I want to stay at this company. So I've got to make myself better so that I could stay here. And he started out on the phones. He's actually having like attendance issues and other things, performance issues, but he didn't want to lose his job. So he actually stepped up so much and turned himself around so much. Yeah, now he's one of the leaders and he works with some of our best clients out in Canada and the northeastern United States. So yeah,
But yeah, to add to that, Eric, I think there is something with Pac Biz because we just like had this like alumni thing because people would always like come back to the company even they're no longer working with Pac Biz, and maybe it's all about the family that they have built here with the people. So yeah, that's interesting. We call it. I think I even said it once. Pac mission will always be Pac mission. So it's like that's why we come up with that Pac Biz alumni.
yeah, and that's true too. And I didn't even realize it because these are familiar faces. We have 200 employees. I can't remember who's working here and who's not, but I'm like, I know these people. And then they're like, oh yeah, they all came back. They're not working here anymore. I'm like, what? But they're still hanging out. And I could say the same thing for our clients too. We've got a couple clients that we no longer work with. They just went in a different direction as far as like their model and everything. But we're still friends. Like, so that's really telling to me, that we've created these relationships professionally, personally, that live beyond this business, and it's changing lives. So at the end of the day, what the goal here that we have at Pac Biz, and I think Kiezia shares in that, is we want to impact more lives. That's why we want to grow, because there's so much that we could do. I mean, you touched on, like, we just for like 5 seconds on the Echo Rev, or in the U.S. Eco Rev, where we're doing beach cleanups and tree plantings, and we have another Be a Blessing program that is all employee created. And I mean, if you looked it up online, you would never realize it has anything to do with Pac Biz. It doesn't say Pac Biz. It doesn't have our logo. They go out into the community and do stuff just to do good. And we'll have to talk about it in the next episode. Like the work we do with the orphanage, which you're such a big part of, with Casa Miani and some of the other organizations out here. So, well, Kiezia, thank you so much for being my last guest for the 8-year anniversary series, podcast series here. And I really hope you guys learned a ton. I think, this could be some really powerful podcasts. I hope to go back onto YouTube and to check our stats and see thousands of views, because there should be a lot of people listening to this message. So if you're thinking about building culture at your company, and maybe whether you're just starting out or you're a big company and you're like, how do I get to what Pac Biz has? It starts somewhere. You got to start traditions. You got to start being purposeful. You got to bring core values. You got to start doing a lot of the stuff that we've done. And it's not too late. It's harder to do when your company's bigger and you've never done it. We definitely have made it easier on ourselves because that's what we've been known for from day one. But really hope you guys got a lot out of these 2 very long podcast episodes. Like, I think we're like 25 minutes each or something, but I think I can just keep talking all day. So I was really looking forward to my podcast and interview with you, and you did not disappoint. So thank you for sharing and pouring your heart out in stories and history with our listeners and with me. So, and thanks for being part of Pac Biz history.
Thank you for having me, Eric, and for this amazing episode with you.
All right. Until then, you'll catch me. I'm going to be going back to the States, and I'm going to be interviewing some more business owners out in Phoenix. We've got Clifford, who is a former UFC fighter and Ultimate Fighter champion. He's going to be on a future episode. He's now a business coach. And we've got some other CEOs lined up. And so stay tuned. Make sure you're subscribing so you can get these episodes. And if you know businesses that could use the information you just listened to today, please share it with them, especially this one. I don't think there's a business out there that could use more culture and that could improve that. And before we go, I wanted to show off this design because we got our awesome video, our awesome designers here, Benzie, who helped produce the podcast, made this shirt for our 8-year anniversary. Super cool. So I just wanted to show it off because they gave it to me hot off the press from my daughter. So she'll be rocking this back at home in Phoenix. So happy 8-year anniversary, Pac Biz. We'll be back to more normal episodes next time. So until then, see you guys later.